We're back on Buckeye Football Weekly. 14-7 at the half. And, Coach, what was halftime like in there for the guys?
You know, Michigan had gotten a little bit of momentum, and I thought our coaches did a good job of, telling our guys that, hey, we can't worry about that. We got to go. We played a good hard half, and you knew it was going to be this way. It's Ohio State, Michigan, and that we just had to let loose, go out and have some fun and relax, and not get nervous about the fact that they had a little momentum, and remind them that those seniors now only have 30 minutes left.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Yeah, a bit of a feeling out period, if that's possible, there in the first half. Defensively, you saw a lot of that bubble, and the guys were going to get a steady diet of that, either runs or bubble screen. That's pretty much what you got.
Well, and a couple of their plays were that fake bubble, and they hit the bubble go against us. But, that's a staple of the spread offense, and sometimes it's a little difficult in a windy type situation. It wasn't extremely windy, but there was enough wind when you were heading from north to south, to make it a little bit more difficult. But our guys kept playing.
We head towards second half. The Bucs have found the end zone twice, which is something, Coach, you hadn't done offensively since September. So I know that was chipping away at the guys. It had been a little while in a couple of games since they got into the end zone, but you did that in the first half. So out in the second half with those jitters gone.
There's no question about it. And, we started with our kickoff team and then our defense on the field, and Michigan came up with some good plays, but we kept coming pressure, and then all of a sudden we get the football back for the first possession, and what we needed to do was change the field position of the game, and we did it with a little toss here. In fact, Coach Bowman kind of drew this one up in the locker room during the halftime. It was a little bit different formation for us, and so we hit that one, and then Boom Herron hit just one of our base off tackle plays and broke a tackle, and he's off to the races, and 91 yards in 2 plays, and I think that really did a lot to the emotion of that football game.
Well, when Michigan comes out with the ball in the second half and has designs after closing out the first half the way they did, takes a little wind out of their sails.
Well, and here's something else that took some wind out. They tried to just pooch it, and Ray Small caught it on the run, and how about this return? 80 yards, great blocking downfield, and we're down inside the 10.
Yeah, great stuff there. Special teams playing a huge factor there in field position and turning the field position. Terrell hits Brian Robisky there for the touchdown.
A little play action. Those first and goals on the 8 and right in there, those are tough ones. So you have to try to strike for the end zone, and we did. And here we are putting more pressure. They brought their third quarterback in, Fagan, and because I think Sheridan got banged a little bit there in that third quarter. And here's Michigan defense putting pressure on, or trying to put pressure on, and Dane Sanzenbacher was hoping for a maybe touchdown if we'd have thrown it earlier, but great job seeing him way down there, and that was huge. Then Boom Herron is hitting it up in there, and our offensive line, I'm going to be anxious to study the film, because I think our offensive line against a very good defensive front really came to play.
You switched ends of the field there and head towards the fourth quarter. Doesn't take long. Boom finds the end zone.
That was a good-looking play, and our guys knocked him off the ball.
So the count advances for Ohio State, 28-7 at this point for the ensuing kickoff, and special teams once again playing a big deal as far as getting a turnover.
Well, our guys were flying down the field, hitting people, and knocked the ball loose. They had fumbled at least 2 or 3 other times this season, Michigan, on their kick returns, and all of a sudden Todd Beckman steps in there and finds his old buddy Brian Hartline, and it was great to see him get the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, good to see 17 throw a touchdown to Brian Hartline there, and again, upping that count. Now we go back to that defense, and they just kept coming.
They kept coming. Nader Abdallah, one of the outstanding seniors. I mean, Nader did a great leadership job this fall.
So 42-7 the count right now, and Beckman's still in there and throwing. Now this is an adjustment to a route?
No, this was actually a called route. They were coming up, and we had 2 little posts and one outside route, and he threw it right up the seam, and then John Toma came in, and John got 2 punts and downed one at the 1 and one at the 9, and that was huge for us. And now Joe Bauserman's in there handing the ball off to Marcus Williams, and the second group of offensive linemen getting to the ball game, and a good win for the Buckeyes.
How much fun is that when you can make wholesale changes at the end of the biggest game of the year to give those guys a chance they'll remember forever?
That doesn't happen very often, and probably won't happen much in the future, because the Ohio State-Michigan game usually comes down to the last snap of the game.
Yeah, 42-7, the final count there. You probably couldn't have guessed a margin of victory like that. The guys said all the right things all week long about not worrying about what was out there in the big picture and the string and all that. But when it came down to it, it was pretty meaningful.
Well, it really was. What was important was the Ohio State-Michigan game, and then anything that came from that, is like icing on the cake. To have 4 straight Big Ten championships, 2 outright, 2 co. For a senior class is pretty good. The senior class record is 43-7, which no senior class has ever had that many wins other than the 02 to 05, and there's a chance that we're going to get one more if we do our homework, and of course being a part of that history of 5 straight wins over Michigan, I'd say our seniors did some pretty good things.
Yeah, and turning point in that game, you mentioned it earlier, right after that drive stopped in the third quarter, 2 plays, 91 yards.
That was the turnaround, and then it was really aided by the 80-yard punt return by Ray Small. All of a sudden, those 2 things happened, and Michigan didn't have the firepower without their quarterback, Stephen Threet. Without him there's no way that they were going to catch up from that deficit.
All right, plenty more to talk about. Stay with us here on Buckeye Football Weekly.